You're watching KJACK Radio, KLJ's LP Flagstaff. My name is Bradley, and we're here with
Rachel Bobbitt.
Had her said it. We're here today before your show at the Valley Bar, and you're opening for Jordana, which is really exciting.
Very, very exciting.
We just have some questions here. We can just go right into it. So the first question is, are there any artists/bands that have had a lot of influence on your music or your sound when you were starting out?
Oh, that's a really good question. I feel like when I was first starting, Bon Iver was a really big influence. I found his music when I was in grade 9 on YouTube, and it blew my mind. And also Leonard Cohen. I think him being Canadian, I was like, okay, this guy's from Montreal. Maybe we can also do music as a Canadian. So yeah.
Have you read any of Len Cohen's poetry books?
Yes, yeah, he has a lot of he was a very prolific writer, and I know he did poetry first at McGill, and then he was like, there's no money in this, maybe if I sing my poems I'll be able to make some money. So that's kind of how I got into music, which I think is really funny.
He was right.
Yeah.
We can go on to the next question. Or is there any other artists?
No, that's great.
Okay. How does, because you've worked with a lot of different artists, when you look through your music catalog, there's a lot of artists you've collaborated with. So how does collaborating with different artists influence how you work on your own music?
That's also a really good question. Yeah, I feel like in collaborating you kind of just experience different ways to look at things. I think as a musician it's easy to kind of get in your own way and get really circular with your thinking, but when you work with other people you can kind of be exposed to different ways of approaching things and different kind of routines, and so I think it's definitely helped me with workflow and how I approach lyrics and things like that, just discussing and sharing with other people kind of how they tackle the same issues that we all run into as musicians.
Definitely. I know in our scene Flagstaff there's a lot of local people, and they all work together on their stuff, especially when they're recording stuff.
Yes.
So you can have two different bands that and then they're just in their friend's apartment recording music.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
that's how they make the best kind of music.
Absolutely.
All right, we can roll on to the next question, which is, you have a lot of covers.
Yes.
They're amazing. All of them are
Thank you.
amazing. Going through all these covers, they're all amazing. But are there any covers that you've tried to cover but you just couldn't make them work? Something that just blocked you from finding the right sound to post it?
That's also a really good question. I feel like I've been really into Imogen Heap recently, and I tried to do a cover of her song Say Goodnight and Go, and I was I was trying to reimagine it, but I just feel like that song is so perfect. Every different iteration I was like, well, maybe I'll strip it down, or maybe I'll do it just vocals, an a cappella arrangement, and then I was like, this song is so perfect. I don't know what more I could add to it. So that was an experience recently where I was just man, every time I try to cover it I just want to listen to the song. So
it's very true. We can go into the last question, or I don't know. So you can go into it. I've heard you say that you tend to write music to movies. What are your favorite movies recently that you've seen, or have inspired you for new music that you're up and coming?
I really liked the movie Bird by Andrea Arnold. Yeah, I love that movie. I love her as a director. And I got to see that when it premiered at TIFF in Toronto, which was an amazing experience. I feel like I found that movie really inspiring. And a movie that I just always find inspiring is Fargo for writing to, just because the landscape is so bleak and emotional. It just it paints such an amazing picture to watch and to put on silent in the background. So yeah, those two for sure are staples.
Would you ever be open to doing a movie soundtrack or a score? I know Alex G just did the score for I Saw a TV Glow last year, and he's done others too.
Yeah.
Is there Blood Orange too? I think he did the score for Palo Alto, and he also did the score for a TV show recently that I forget. Is there anything that you'd like to do or keep open to?
Absolutely. I feel doing something like that is a long-term goal. I know even Amy Mann's soundtrack for Magnolia that she did with John Bryan, that is also just so incredible, and I feel complements the movie so well that I long-term would love to do something like that. I think it's such a perfect marriage of like movies and music, which go together so naturally anyway. It's like I feel like it would be really inspiring.
I totally agree with you on the music and movies aspect. I think we have one last question, and it's any like Oscar picks, because the Oscars are coming up soon. Have you seen the nominations? Do you have any picks for any of the categories?
Whoa. I've been dropping the ball in terms of like knowing what's nominated. What are a few for the Best Picture? Do you guys know?
There's The Brutalist, Nickel Boys, Amelia Perez, Anora, Dune Part 2. Mm-hmm. 5 more. I know this. I should know this.
No, I'm quizzing you, but I will say I loved Anora. I really enjoyed that movie. So that would probably be my nom for Best Picture.
That's a good one. All right. Thank you for talking to us. Hope you do good in your show. Is there any last questions or comments that you'd like to say?
Honestly, not too much. Just thank you so much for having me. This is really fun, and we really like Phoenix, so we're hoping to come back pretty soon.
Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe.